Another perspective that I have on it is I went to go see it with my lady and my kids, and they enjoyed it. So what I think Marvel is trying to do is they're trying to
Play
get
to a
a
different
fan
audience.
base. They're trying to play to a different audience. They're trying to get a fan base of people that aren't solely comic book fans and get them.
Check out Ant-Man and Wasp.
Jonathan Majors did an amazing job as Kang.
Was Kang actually really that bad of a dude?
Marvel is just kind of coasting.
It gave us something to look forward to.
Okay, here we go. Guys, did you guys get to the movies this weekend and check out Ant-Man and Wasp? For me, I got kind of excited about it. I think I got a little too hyped about it. Rotten Tomatoes has been kind of putting them down a little further than I think they should be. For me, I gave this about an 87. What do you guys think?
Why the hell would you give it an 87?
Wow.
Why would you give it an 87? I don't know what's wrong with you, but why would you give it an 87?
I just really, for me, yeah, it is pretty high. It kept me entertained the entire time.
I would definitely
I can see where everything's starting to weave together. Now, it didn't happen until towards the end where you start to see where it starts to weave together. However, I really loved the way that they got them into that different universe, that sub-universe, and the different people that they've got in there, like the different creatures and how that worked. Come on, the red goo.
Are we gonna do like we do every episode where I let you all say how much you love this, and then I just go ahead and
Vern, here's my take on it. I gave it about an 80, and that might still be a little bit too high after I think about it a little bit more.
It is.
I would now let me explain. Let me explain my rating on this. I didn't love the movie. I didn't hate the movie either, though. I think that Jonathan Majors did an amazing job as Kang, both in his portrayal in Loki as well as in this different version of him in the movie. Spoilers for anybody that hasn't seen the movie yet. Whenever you see his other variants in one of the end of the credit scenes. So I really like his portrayal, but I'm still not an Ant-Man fan. Ant-Man doesn't do it for me.
No, aren't we saying? Can we be honest and just say that that Marvel is just kind of coasting off of the success they had with the Avengers? Because everything they put out after the Avengers has been meh. Everything.
Yeah, I would feel like in this movie, it wasn't meant to be like this top tier movie. I feel like it was just an introduction into what's supposed to happen in the next couple phases.
Right.
But I do think, just like what you said, I think they're pushing it.
You don't get to be a bad movie just because.
Yeah, and Jers made this point a while ago, and I kind of agree with it. Like whenever they did Endgame, it felt like that's where it ended for me.
Yep.
It should have stopped there. Like anything else after that might be like nice little one-off movies, but to try to continue with Phase 4, 5, 6, I feel like you're pushing it.
I can agree with that.
I gave it a 78, only because I agree with what Naz is saying as far as it's more of like an alley-oop film. It really is. It's an open gate. It's an open door for other things to explore. So, and we obviously, I think everybody here saw the 2 post credits at the end of the movie.
Yes,
of course.
Right? So, right. Okay, that's when I gave it an extra 4%. At first I was going to give it a 74, but really at the end, I'm like, oh, okay. I'm still in agreement with, I think it should have ended at Endgame, but since it's here, I think that the way that they brought the question, I think, to the viewers of, was that the right move to stop Kang? Was that the right move? And it left me really, really curious. Like, yo, was Kang actually really that bad of a dude? Or was it the other ones? You know what I'm saying? Like, it just left it open for me. Anyway, besides that, the movie was,
My wife was asking me throughout the movie, like, so what version is Kang is this? And I'm like, well, I believe this is the Kang that was the final conqueror. I believe he's the one that killed off all of his other variants. Like, once that last one died in Loki, I think it just restarted the chain all over again. And he was the one that's trying to make one timeline versus multiple timelines branching off of each other.
Right, but I actually was not as big of a fan as Kang as y'all were. For most of the movie, it seemed like the lines on his face to me seemed like he was just constantly crying.
But the lines are supposed to be there.
I understand
That's supposed to be there.
That's his look in the comics too.
Mm-hmm. This is look in the comics. There's scars.
There's scars, but they're not as defined as they were in the comic. So in this, it really seemed to me like he was just constantly crying throughout the movie.
I think the reason that it's not portrayed that way in the comics versus what we saw in the movie is the fact that we're seeing Kang the Conqueror in the movie as more of a humanoid versus what his depiction is. Like, we always see him with the blue face, purple, green outfit.
Right. Always the armor, nothing else. Yeah.
Right. Another perspective that I have on it is I went to go see it with my lady and my kids, and they enjoyed it. So what I think Marvel is trying to do is they're trying to get a fan base. They're trying to play to a different audience. They're trying to get a fan base of people that aren't solely comic book fans and get them to enjoy it. The same way they did with She-Hulk, which I thought was horrible, and my lady was like, I like She-Hulk. And the same way they did with all the other Marvel things, I like this. And I was like, that's horrible. She's like, I liked it.
She-Hulk. I haven't watched it.
Ant-Man to She-Hulk. There's no way you can't compare those two.
Why?
Because to me, She-Hulk, listen, God bless all the people out there that love She-Hulk. More power to you, right? But for what the story is and for continuing the story of the Marvel Universe, She-Hulk was not doing it. The conversation is about Quantumania. It did it in its own unique way where you have a character that some people would say is a corny character. A corny character. What can Ant-Man do? Clearly,
but at the same time, you have a phenomenal cast with the par plot. It was a mid plot. It was a mid movie. The casting was better than yeah. Go ahead.
The acting carried it. So I gave this movie a 77, right? Because I was entertained enough to be able to finish the movie. It gathered my attention the entire time. What I did not like about the movie was the plot was very, very predictable. I felt like they bit off Star Wars when it comes to creating these creatures. I felt like they went to Tatooine, and or if you think about the Boba Fett series, how they're walking in the town where Boba Fett wound up taking over as the mayor or whatever, and you see all of these different characters with these different faces. I did like the ooze aspect to explain the differences in language, but then the fact that they didn't even know that they were humans. But then how did they get down there? There was no explanation.
You're killing me too.
Look, I thought the movie was all right at best. My favorite part of the movie was Jonathan Majors' portrayal. I think he did a decent job as Kang, and I was glad in how he was able to bring that character to life. And with everything that he did, I liked how he showed different sides of emotion and really brought that character to life.
Okay, let me jump in right here. So first off, for all of us that are actually, let's give credit where it's due. Jonathan Majors. Can we all on here on Nerd or Nothing give Jonathan Major his flowers for a job well done in this movie? Yes? No? Yes?
Absolutely.
Yeah, he did a great job.
Jonathan Majors, you get your flowers. You get your flowers. Now, to the elephant in the scroll in the room. We're going to say this, right? For all of us comic book heads, we already knew that Stan Lee and his team was already creating something like a Star Wars universe. People can fight me on that all they want. We knew that there was a multiverse, and we also knew that there was a sub-universe. Yes, no?
Yes.
Right? So because there was a sub-universe, we already knew off jump, because they're out there planet killing and universe killing, we knew that there was these people that reminded us of Star Wars-esque type stuff. Yes, no.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll say with this Ant-Man movie, it felt like it had a lot of aspects of it that I expected from a Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Right.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
That's the point that I'm trying to get at.
Go ahead.
Because there's so many universes, we have to expect the fact that certain things are going to be a recycled rerun as far as all these characters. Because guess what? They're going to get killed off. Spoiler. Who knew that the dude with the magnifying glass that shoot the laser beam was going to die? That surprised me that he died.
It didn't surprise me, John.
When it got closer to the end, and like before his death, I'm like, he's going to die. Like, he's just too powerful for a side character to just still live. Like, he's going to die.
Right.
So that wasn't really much
for me. That wasn't even a surprise.
Okay.
Even before the middle of the movie, I kind of saw that one coming a while back.
Did you still care?
My thing.
Did you still
Did
care?
I care about him?
No.
I didn't care.
Did you care about the movie at that point?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'll say it. Hey,
no, I did.
Did you still care? I'm like, geez.
I would say the movie grabbed my attention later on. Like, in the beginning, it didn't really capture. It's like watching an anime that you get through the first 4 episodes and they tell you, like, oh, get to the 5th episode and it'll really start to pick up. Well, why should I have to wait for the 5th episode for it to pick up? Why do I have to wait for half of this movie for it to actually start picking up?
It wasn't until Jonathan Majors got on screen. And another thing that got me was with Michelle Pfeiffer's character, with her leading the viewer down this rabbit hole that she has this hugely dark secret. And then she even says, I'm a freedom fighter or a terrorist, depending on who you're asking. And then never going into any explanation about what she was doing, only to find out that all she did was she just had no idea who this guy was and was basically misled.
Don't talk down on Michelle Pfeiffer. Don't do it.
I'm saying that was a story plot. That was a hole that they could have filled. I didn't like the angle that that she said she was a terrorist, and then they never explained anything about her past.
That's what I'm saying. It was a mid plot. It was a mid-tier plot.
Right.
But you know what also annoyed the heck out of me was the daughter. The daughter.
Yes.
I had no emotional attachment to the daughter whatsoever. I'm like, it was.
I didn't want her to get saved. I didn't think she deserved to be saved. Which daughter? He was like, I gotta save Cassie. Okay. I was like, why? Why? She's the reason y'all are down there.
The other thing is, how on earth did she get a hold of that kind of tech? Like, what kid in a basement can create something to put a map to the quantum realm? Like, it didn't even seem like it was realistic. But still, the way that they did that, they're like, oh yeah, she did this in the basement, and she made this thing and then connected to the quantum realm. And
what kills me about that, Matt, is when did she become a part of that family? Because if you remember, she didn't even have any clue who they were before the blip. Okay, so she's gone for 5 years. Right. She had no clue who they were. Cassie didn't, because he was doing this on the side. Cassie had no clue until the blip happened. So the blip happens and she comes back.
Oh wait,
because Cassie blipped out, and then she comes back and she's 17 now.
Yeah, I didn't get that. I didn't understand how. And then she's like, going to jail, and she's getting in trouble, and then but on top of that, you're this quantum master. Like you have that kind of tech.
Double team.
Uh oh.
Well, actually, hey, listen, we can both take this one.
All right, so you said that Andy, you said that Cassie is the one that blipped out. Cassie never did blip out. She was still there the entire time. So that's
and I know that Ant-Man was stuck in the quantum realm.
I'll pass the rest off to Brian. Yes,
he was stuck in the He was stuck in the quantum.
She was up. Ant-Man was stuck in the quantum realm, right? And Cassie was sitting there doing whatever she was doing. So now, the thing that we're not paying attention to, right, is the amount of time that passed between all the events after the final blip and after Endgame, right?
But that's just my point. Hold on. So that's just the point, is that no, Ant-Man was not smart. He was a thief, okay? So she didn't have any contact with them until after the blip. How did she get so smart so quickly to learn about the quantum realm and get into all that scientific knowledge.
Quantum physics.
It's not quantum physics, though.
But see that's what gets me is, okay, 5 years you're telling me that this child
physics?
was able to understand the in and out and to create something that had never been created before.
I mean, that's not all that surprising in the Marvel universe, considering how many people are just geniuses as children.
Yes.
You know, so that part's not really that surprising to me. Like,
well, but the Pims were gone. Okay, so. The Pims got limped.
No, for the creation of the map.
Right. So the blip. Okay, everybody's already returned from the blip, and then some more years have gone by since then. So she was working with Hank Pym and Hope Van Dyne to create this. Janet and Scott were the only ones who were not aware that she was creating a signal to the quantum realm. But again, what the hell was the point? Everybody's back. There was no more intentions of going back to the quantum realm. So why even create this device in the first place? I did not understand the reasoning behind that. And I know they gave us subpar.
The objective.
But it just didn't make sense.
My thing with the entire movie is that the thing that I liked about it is it gave us something finally to look forward to. Whereas some Marvel movies here recently have not been giving me that thing to look forward to within the next phase. With Kang coming in and the 2 post-credit scenes, seeing those, it made me feel nostalgic from the previous phases. Whenever I was I'm now looking forward to what the new phase is going to bring into effect.
Yeah, I think that this was a good movie to just introduce us to like what's really going to be happening going forward. I don't feel like it was supposed to be a game-changing movie. I think it was supposed to be like how we first saw Thanos in first phase in an end credit scene. You know,
but I think I think it was supposed to be a game changer because Nas, you're introducing Kang the Conqueror to the MCU, and then you literally it's very for the second time in Loki, right? When they brought him in Loki, it was like mind blowing, right? But then you're introducing him now where there's actually going to be a battle, which means where they are with Quantumania, this is the equivalent of what was that, Infinity War, when you first saw Thanos when he bodied up the Hulk. And honestly, I've said that you even said this earlier. For me, since Endgame, there have only been maybe 2. I'll probably give you 3 movies that were great. I feel like Marvel is holding on to the last little glimmer of hope that they had when they went crazy from 2008 until 2019. Those 11 years they were in their prime, and everything since then has been
Mr. Jers, and this is one thing that I will say. I think, like you said, in the prime from 2008 till Endgame, right? They were able to go off of comic written stories, Stan Lee driven, and pretty much painted the way for them to actually write and to do these movies, right? Now we're coming into these different phases where they're trying to open up a multiverse so that they can do maybe some freestyle stuff on their own. It opens the doors to write a new story.
Like Spartacus, you got to understand, right? There's still a lot of story to be told. We got a couple of goldmine movies, and obviously your favorites coming is called The Marvels, just so you know. That's your movie. You're in it. So, but anyways, that's not what I'm talking about. Guardians of the Galaxy, right? What they're going to do in Guardians of the Galaxy probably might be shock at all. Most of us are probably prepared for what's to come in Guardians of the Galaxy. We haven't seen it yet, but we just know what's going to happen about it because they already kind of hinted at, this is going to happen.
Because the thing is, like, I believe, and was it Kevin Feige had said that the next couple phases are going to heavily revolve around the Fantastic Four. So I think the Guardians of the Galaxy, played their roles between the second and third phase, and I guess a little bit now in the fourth phase, if you want to call it that. But they're going to be focusing heavily on the Fantastic Four.
And I'm not interested in anything that they're making in the future. The Guardians of the Galaxy movie, I saw the trailer, it looked like trash, and all the other trailers, they look like trash. I don't like the path that they're on, and DC's going to take over.
So Mad V, let me ask you. Since Endgame, what movies that Marvel put out did you absolutely love? Because I got 3, and No Way Home is one of my 3. I want to see because
she's my second.
I'll give you one.
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi.
I enjoyed
Shang-Chi
that.
is one of my.
That was my second. That was my second favorite.
That's my
That
first.
was actually really good.
If that's the only one that you love, that's cool. But that's kind of what I'm trying to get to. There were 2 Spider-Man movies that came out after Endgame. So Spider-Man 2, which was Far From Home, was where he was crying up on the tower. Right. That was decent. I think, as a matter of fact, and looking at my ratings, I think I gave that an 88. So the only movies that I gave a 90 since Endgame for me was Shang-Chi.
Yep.
I gave a 93. Spider-Man 3, No Way Home, I gave a 97. And Black Panther 2, yep. I gave a 91. For me.
Black Panther 2.
Black Panther 2, I gave a 91.
Don't even get me started on how bad that movie was.
Let me just ask you, would you consider Quantumania a low-tier movie, mid-tier movie, or, well, obviously it's not high-tier for you.
Mid.
Where do you rank it? Where would you compare it? I don't think it's as low as Eternals.
Yeah, he's going to give low.
I'm sorry, guys.
Eternals and Ant-Man 3 got the same score for me. I gave both of them a 77.
I gave Eternals a 74. So I scored. That was the worst. Like, you're naming off these movies that were like Marvel, and then you want to argue how great Marvel is. Like, I get a stomach ache just thinking about these movies.
But you know what, guys? Listen, to the guests out there, to the people who are watching this show, let us know what you think about Quantumania. Quantumania was ranked high by some of us and low by others. So let us know what you think in the comments below.